So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take apart the connecting bolts that hold the support rod in place. Using a 7/16 wrench, just cracking those loose. Boom, like so. I'm going to flip the thing over. Do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to flip it back over again. And then remove these bolts. So at this point, I'm going to knock these pins out. Remove the adjustment wheel. You got 2 pins on the gears to hold the gears in place. I'm going to knock those out. The 5/32 pin punch. Got that one out. Got that one out. Small flathead screwdriver you can use, and just have to pry that gear off of the shaft. Like so. At that point you can remove the plate that holds the assembly together. You've got access to the rollers, you've got access to the bearings. So here the bearings slid off pretty easily. Sometimes you may need to squirt a little bit of WD-40, PB Blaster, some kind of penetrating fluid down into that surface and pop them out. Sometimes they'll get stuck on, but I haven't had a problem with a little bit of PB Blaster or penetrating fluid and prying it off. So we've got those rollers out. We can pull the rollers out. At that point, this one slides off pretty easily as well. Sometimes, again, they'll want to get stuck on there, and you'll have to pry them off with a screwdriver. This came off pretty easily. Kind of the same thing. Remove the bearings.
Take it off.
Like so. We're gonna set that aside. At this point, we can take the bottom out. We've got this. The bearings are actually inside of the roller as opposed to externally on the top rollers. The bottom rollers, they're recessed inside and the cam's exposed on the outside. So what I'll do at this point is you can either clamp it to a table somehow. If you've got a V-clamp to clamp it to the table, I'll use a vise and clamp it in the vise to knock those pins out, just to hold the roller in place. A dull 1/8" bit to just drive my press back out. That cam pop off. And then you've got access to the bearings on the inside there. Spin it around, do the same thing on this one. Punch the cam out, or the cam pin out. So I've got that one bearing removed. You can see some of the grain and dust that's built up inside over time. I've got the roller out, I've got the pin out, bearings out. That exposes. You've got exposure to the inside bearings now, the inside bearing surface. I'll take a rag with acetone on it, a little bit of acetone, and then wipe that surface clean. Getting the grit out of there for when the new bearings fit in. It's got a nice clean surface to make contact to. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to clean out the insides of the plates. You can see that they get some buildup of just a little bit of stuff over the years. I'm going to use just acetone or lacquer thinner. Either one's fine. Just get in all the points, clean it all up really good. And then it'll evaporate off. Clean out the inside of the bearing surface, make sure that there's nothing built up in there. We'll pop that bearing out. So I'll just use that shaft, just kind of slide it against the bearing there. That pops that out. Clean that surface. Okay, the rollers, get in there. This one's pretty clean. Sometimes we'll get them and they're quite dirty. So I'll really get in there, make sure that that any leftover material is cleaned off pretty good, so the bearing's got a good surface to seat to.